I'll start with my presentation. I don't want to start my video because then I won't be able to
Sir, சொல்லுங்க
share
சார்.
my slide.
ஓகே ஓகே சார்.
Okay. So, so is my screen visible to everybody?
Sir, yes sir, you can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you can see my screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So my today topics is evolutions of wear resistance in feed screws and barrels. See, feed screws and barrels are, often plastic processors are aware of these terms, but believe me, it is most neglected subject. When people go and purchase the machines, people often talk about what kind of gearbox you are having in your machines, or motors, or whether the hall of unit have servo units or not, and all those things are there. But when it comes to screw and barrel, I always feel that this is a neglected subject. And my today's seminar is basically a knowledge sharing about screw and barrels, and what are the technologies available, what kind of steels are used in this screws and barrel. And I hope by end of this webinar you will have more knowledge about this subject, and you will be more prepared whenever you are going to purchase screw and barrels. You will ask more questions to your supplier. So why screw and barrels are important? See, prior to this screw barrels, we used to have a plunger type molding machines, where 100% heating to the polymer used to come from the barrel heatings. But that is not the case with the advanced technology, where once the screw introduced in the melting system, only 40% to 50% heats come from the barrel. Rest of the heats is the function of screws rotating, and the process is called viscous dissipations. To brief you about this viscous dissipations, if you look at this left hand side of picture, okay, this is the id of barrel, and this is the unmelted polymer, and the maroon films, the red color films which you are seeing is basically a melted polymer films. So once polymer enters into the screw barrel systems, because of the barrel heating, it creates a thin films. And viscous dissipations means the stretching of these films between barrel id and unmelted polymer, and that's how lots of heat is getting generated because of the stretching of the films. Maybe the right hand side of the picture will kind of give you clear idea what I'm talking about. So what happens is that as the screw turns around the barrel, the melted polymer stick above and below the unmelted polymers, and it continuously stretch like rubber band. Ultimately, what is happening is that the electric power which is there in your motor get converted into the mechanical power of the rotation of the screw, and that creates heat in the film by continuous stretching it between two surfaces. So the screw barrel functions is critically important because this is where all the magic is happening. Your motors, your drives, everything is a subordinate to this system. The whole magic is happening here. It is the rotation of the screw which melts your polymer and creates a quality melt polymer, which ultimately get converted into the end products. Now what is important in these screws and barrels? If you look at the screw barrel systems, and I'm just giving you very standard idea, maybe a different machine supplier have a different formula for it, but this is more in general, that if you have a barrel id, let's say d, the clearance should be the screw barrel clearance. This is where the your polymer get melts. It should be d in 2.001. That means whatever id of barrel is that, you multiply it into 0.001 and you will get your the clearance. And two types of clearance, when you minus it from your barrel id, that's where the od of your screws comes in picture. So just to brief you about it, if your screw barrel id is 30, then the clearance is 0.03. 0.03 into 2, because now this is just a one side clearance, total clearance will be 0.06, and this will become your screw od 29.94. Now there is a term called critical points. What is critical points? It is a point after which machine does not give potential profit directly or indirectly. What it means is, either your output of machines will decrease, or the quality of melt will not be good, you may end up having, black mark, silver marks, or all kind of issues will be there in the melt. So what is critical point? The clearance which you calculate, okay, once that clearance become 2.5 times, you have to make sure that you pay attention to your screws, you do rectification in your screw, or you may have to go for the new screw barrels. So what are the critical points of typical diameter? If your barrel height is 30, if the OD of screw or clearance of the screw barrel system, if it is more than 0.07, please pay attention to it, because now your output may get reduced or the quality of melt may not be good, which ultimately it will affect your end product's quality. So this is the formula. And now the question is, why it happens, why the wear in the screw barrel systems actually happens. So this is just what happens beyond the critical point. If you are extrusion machines processor, the overall output will get reduced. You may have degraded particles or inferior dispersion. In injection molding, you may end up your refilling time more than cooling time, so your cycle time may get increased. You may have degraded polymer. So we all know all kind of issues we may face once the screw barrel system is not in place. I don't want to get into more specific about it, but just to brief you about, let's say a customer, this is live example actually. One of our customer was having 6820 twin screw PVC pipe machines, and the target outputs, that means first when they have installed the machines, the output was almost 340 kg per hour, and they were having moderate rate of failures. Now that they have not told us what was the filler percentage in that applications, and the screw barrels they were using was nitrided. After 1 year, that means approximately after 8,000 hours of productions, the same machine was giving output of 315 kg per hour. So on an average, when we have calculated the output loss into the hours into 365 days, this was the production loss of that particular machines, 98 kg, which was actually a 3 weeks of actual production of that machines. So it almost like in a year, almost 21 days your machine was not functioning. That was the kind of loss that processor was making. This again is a live example of one chair manufacturing company in Durgapur. Because of the wear, the cycle time of the chair instead of 45 second became 47 second, and almost on an hourly basis they were manufacturing 4 chair less. And that you can always calculate the back end cost and the loss the company was making because of this. Coming back to the wears, we have to understand what are the wears in the system. In plastic machineries, because the system of machinery is such that you always end up having a screw assembly as a cantilever assembly. That means one end of the screw is always going to be free, and maybe because of the filler, maybe because of the higher diameter of screw, different heat mass at the systems, it is bound to happen that two metals are going to come in contact with each other. That's what we call a adhesive wear. See, in adhesive wear, when you purchase a new screws and barrels, surface may look very smooth, but in microspect, if you see, the surface have a peak and valley, and the two peak points, when they comes in contact with each other, and because of the higher shear, they create micro weld. And those micro weld, if you see here, this picture may give you more explanation. It has nothing to do with hardness actually. It's just that these two high point get melt with each other because of the higher shear, and because the screw is rotating, it ruptures it. And that's how the adhesive wear start. That's how the, if you see specifically in most of the systems, the wear start at metering zone, because that's the area which is more free for movements, and those were the area which continuously in touch with barrels, and it start getting ruptured from that end. So this is most of the time in all of this system, let it be injection molding system, let it be extrusion molding system, small screw, big screws, this adhesive wear is always there in system. There are many reasons for that. As I said, alignment, because it is a cantilever assembly, sometimes runouts on the screws are more, the deflections could be more because of the weight of screw itself. Second kind of wear is abrasive wear. This wear happens because of the the fillers and other subordinate materials we have to add in a polymers. It could be glass fibers, it could be calcium carbonate in PVC applications. Maybe customers are processing recycled plastics which has lots of dirts and other dust. It could be aglo waste, which is a roadside waste. If customer is collecting, it may have lots of dust particles. Now, what is abrasive wear? When hard particle comes in between the screw and barrels, and if the hardness is not proper, then you will see, lots of wears on the screws. Another kind of wear is a corrosion wears. This typically happen when you have acidic materials. This we usually see in PVC, CPVC applications where chloric can attack the base metal. Then there is a PTFE processing, fluoric acid can attack your base metal. Lots of engineering plastics which are used in automobiles, they have halogen-free flame retardant, which is very corrosive in nature. That can also pit your base metal. Fourth kind of wear, which is very ad, what can I say, in last 6-7 years it has came in picture, that is called a erosion wear. This happens when customers are using groove fit screws and barrels. If you see the simulations of the screw very near to the hopper, uh, this extrusion systems feels lots of pressures. The sidewall of the screw has so much of pressure that within 6 to 7 months the flights are almost gone. This happens in, as I said, groove fit system where the very high feed rates are there and it generates lots of pressure. Small video I like to play here because this is not commonly.
Real problem is only in feeding zone.
If you see just near to feed zone, almost 3 to 4 flights are completely gone, and this happens because of very high pressure at feed bush. uh, I will not run complete video because we may run out of time. Now the next slide is basically what industries has done to combat with this kind of VS. There are two way industries has tried to address these issues. One is with steel itself. So in 1960s, 70s, the plastic processing was not that advanced, but in 70s in US, in Western market, automobile markets uh, got such a boom that there was a need to convert metal parts into the plastic parts and to put more property into this plastics polymer to add toughness and strength and all those things. People started using feelers and all those things. And in that case, the simple steel may not sustain there, so some advanced steel came, which is 4140, 4143, and you can put some treatments on that. Then there are certain steels which are specifically used for the corrosion resistance. So for an example, if I want to use CPVC only, then there are some steels where you can use those steel to make the screws, and you can have a longer life compared to this standard material. Then industries have started using steels which are moderately good with adhesive wear, moderately good with abrasive wear, and moderately good with corrosion wear also. And those are AS13 and D2. And then came very special steels. This is mainly used in European market, CPM 9V, CPM 10V. So the steel of this particular screws are tailor made. The technology itself is called crucible powder metallurgy. They make the powders of it, and from the powders the steels are made. So this is one way industries has tried to address the issues of wear. Second way industries has tried to address this issue is by putting surface treatments on the screws and barrels. So very basic is flame hardening. If you put heat in the steel, it will do something, and there is a technique for that. I'll speak little bit more briefly on all the steels and as well as on the surface treatments also. After flame hardening, people developed nitriding. After nitriding came chrome plating. After chrome plating came weldings. After weldings, people started doing PVD coatings, and after PVD coatings, now the HVF technologies are available, and we will look at it each and everything briefly. So one thing, keep it in mind that when you purchase a steel, steel is a mixture of different elements, and some elements are very good for the steel, some elements are very bad for the steels. Like carbon puts lots of hardness in a steel, but then there is a limitation to it. If you try to put more carbon in a steel, then it will become cast iron. So there is a limit to this. Manganese, phosphorus, sulfurs, these are all basically impurities. We want to avoid that. If you have high chromium in your steel, it will become a good resistance to corrosions. If you have molybdenum, vanadium, tungsten carbide, those steels are excellent. If it will give you great life, because these elements are very good at corrosion resistance, wear resistance, abrasive, adhesive, let it be any kind of wear. These elements helps a lot. Now, when I spoke about standard materials, 4140, 4340, and all those things, in India, we call it as a EN19, EN24, EN41B. 80% of the machines when you purchase in India, these are the steels which are used, and then nitriding is done on those steel. This is very standard in India. So if you look at the chemistry, it does not have a great wear resistance property. It is just a steel which is ready to accept nitrogen, so it can make a nitride. So that's how it creates the hard layer. But this is a very basic steel. And sometimes you may wonder, why one screw maker gives a very cheaper cost for the screw barrel, while other screw makers give you very higher cost of cheaper for same screw barrels. This is because of the material itself. EN41B is almost 2 times costly of EN19, but the chemistry is very different. So steel may look same, everything looks same, the hardness initially looks same, but the steel chemistry is not same. EN19 compared to EN1924 is better, compared to 24, EN41 is better. Nitro alloy 135 is a specific steel used for nitriding, so it is even better than that. Then there are corrosive resistance material, as I spoke. If you see all this steel, the chromium percentage is very high. Uh, that's what makes them, more corrosive resistance steel. The limitation of these steels are these are not good with fillers or adhesive wear, because it does not have a high percentage of molybdenum, it does not have any tungsten inside that, it does not have any vanadium inside that. Next level, as I said, there was D2 and some percentage of molybdenum and vanadium. So it gives moderate resistance to corrosion, moderate resistance to, other two wears, which we spoke, adhesive and abrasive. But the limitation with this steels is that you cannot make bigger size of screw. It's very difficult to make them to remove the runout from those screws. So up to 36 mm, 40 mm, this is advisable. Yet this is not a foolproof solution. Then fourth kind of we spoke about is a powder metallurgy. This is very common in US. This is the steel they use. If you see, the vanadium percentage is very high, 9%, 10%. Molybdenum percentage is also little bit there. Chromium percentage is also there. So when it comes to steel, this is what best is available. Beyond this, there is nothing available. So if you want to purchase a steel which is wear resistance to all three of this, then CPM 9V, CPM 10V is the best solution in terms of steel. When we talk about surface treatment, the very basic from last almost 50-60 years which people is used is a flame hardening. When you make the screw, if you take it to certain temperature, and if you quench it rapidly, it creates a hard layer on the top surface, and that's how the life of steel can be increased. Second is very famous and very common in India. Basically, you can have EN41B steel or nitro alloy steel and just nitride that. It will create almost 30-40 microns of hard layer on the screw. The limitation is that once this hard layer is worn out, which is within 3-4 months, then your soft screw is exposed. Then it's wear out very quickly. So, and it does not give a wear resistance against corrosions it cannot protect. It required different attention there. Weld overlay is what Indian processors or machine supplier buy from out of India. Vast subject, but just to brief you, the groove is made on the flight top, and then they put the welded material here. What are the welded material available? The very basic is Stellite 6. So you may often hear from Indian screw supplier that we also do bimetallic. Technically, they are correct. They do welding of Stellite 6, but the tungsten percentage in that is only 4.5%. Then there are some Chinese, Taiwanese company, they give a little bit more compared to Stellite 6, that is known as Stellite 12. The tungsten percentage is almost 8.3% there. This is better than Stellite 6. Then came Colmonite 56, where the chromium percentage is very high and balance is nickel. Again, it's a semi-advanced technology. And the very best in bimetallics were available was Colmonite 83. Up to here, the tungsten carbide is almost 25%. And this is what, most of the machine supplier, when they talk to you that we give bimetallic screws, this is what you are purchasing. This is not easily available in India. Most of the Indian suppliers are importing it from various part of the world. Sometimes some processors or machine supplier use the combination of all three of things. It may weld overlay chrome plated, or it could be nitrided and chrome plated. Depends, uh, how they want to improve the situations. Then came the coatings. Coatings, there is one advantage, not only the flat top, but with coating you can cover entire surface of the screw. Initially, something go to China, plus you see many yellow screws are hanging there in a screw stalls. Those are nothing but the PVD coating. These are titanium nitride. With this process is that you can go only up to 40-45 mm. System is not developed. It is not up to that advanced level. And second, so again, once the coating layer is gone, then your soft screw is exposed, and it will wear out very quickly. In coating, the advanced stage, and this is what my company do, we are Extreme Coatings. We give tungsten carbide full encapsulations coating with this is the whole mechanism. I don't want to go into the details of that because we have a very limited time. So what is happening here, there is a high velocity oxygen fuel flame is there, and the tungsten particle is poured from here, and with very high strength it get embedded on the steel surface. Now, what is the advantage of this? There are two advantage. One is if you are looking to protect only abrasive and adhesive wear, which mainly happen on the flight top, we can put coating only here on that. And if you have a polymers, which required attention on all three aspects, corrosion, abrasion, adhesive, then we have full encapsulation also, where the tungsten carbide layer can be on entire surface of the screw. So one is called flight guard, one is called full encapsulation. Other advantage is that unlike PVD coating where only 10 micron coatings can be given, here we can go 125 micron per side up to 250 micron per side. That's the capacity of the technology. We can put a very higher layer of tungsten carbide layer on the top of screw or as well as on the sidewall of the screw. Third advantage is that when we have seen in the most advanced bimetallic technology was having 25% to 30% tungsten carbide. Here the powder which we are using is 88% tungsten carbide, which is almost 3 to 4 times better than whatever were available globally. So actually our coating is considered as a super bimetallic coatings, which gives a double life of bimetallics. In globally, the tungsten coating is considered as a super bimetallic coatings. There are some more advantage. I will speak, in next slide. But when we compare these coatings with what is best available for the corrosion resistance, if we compare it, if we benchmark it with the hard chrome plating, the hardness is almost same. So when we say when we have a 88% tungsten carbide, that doesn't mean that it makes screw very hard. It is still within the range which is required in that system. But the wear resistance is very powerful. The bond strength is very high. The porosity is less than 1%. While in hard chrome plating, there is lots of porosity. Let me explain you what is porosity. When plating is done or the coating is done, it's it the, the porosity factors is very important. For an example, if this is the plating I have done on the screw, acid can enter from this connected porosity and it can still attack the base metal. So chrome plating porosity is more than 6% actually, and that's why sometimes you hear that some of the suppliers use triple chrome plating, because one chrome plating is not enough. It may have a lots of porosity, while in coating the porosity is almost less than 1%. In fact, it is 0.5%. So there is no chance of acid entering inside the base metal. This is the cross section of our coating, and this is the base metal. You can see there are hardly any porosity in the coatings. Another benefit is that, and this is the test available in market, ASTM B117. If I have a coated piece and if I have a chrome plated piece, and if we submerge them in an acid tank, within 55 hours the chrome plating is completely gone. While for tungsten coating to get out of it, it requires 720 hours. So you can understand the corrosion wear resistance it has compared to any chrome plating solutions. I will go in depth with, or I will give some idea of its abrasive wear resistance also. So when we
Sir,
talk about this, hello.
one more minute left for you, sir. So just
Okay, so this is the results of abrasive wear, compared to nitride 8 or stellite 6 or D2 or Colmone 683. Coating has a higher life. In this test, uh, maybe you can check on YouTube also how the STMG65 test is done. This is to give you an idea. When the volume of piece is lost, the nitride still has lost almost 68% of volume, while the coating has lost only 5% of the volume. Maybe I can share this video later also. And this is the another test to check metal to metal wear and how it's performed. Again, compared to any other solutions available, the volume loss in coating is minimum, very less. So what it means to customers, if you are a pipe processor, twin pipe processors, you can take our OD coatings on the flight top, and if you are getting 8,000 hours of life, this may definitely give you 3 times life of whatever you are getting from the nitrided screws barrel. Some live case studies we have mentioned here. When customer used to have only 7,000 hours of life, the coated screw has crossed almost 15,000 hours. Some of our customers in 2012, 2014, screw barrel are still running. They have not taken out from the system yet. If you are film processors, we can give a full encapsulation at feed zone to avoid any erosion wear. If you are injection molding processes, this is the case study compared to D2 plating. They were taking only 3 lakh shot. With CPM 10V, they got 10 lakh shot. With coated screw, they got 40 lakh shot. So this is just a reference of how well it is performing. So where we are situated, we are a USA based company. It's been more than 40 years now. We are supplying this bimetallic coatings globally. More than 50,000 screws we have coated till date. In India, we have head office in Chennai, our sales office at Mumbai. We have plant in Taloja. These are the clients we serve. If you look at the extrusion side, Windsor, Cabra, Rolepal, Shubham Extrusion, Raju, these are the machine suppliers which use our coating. So if you have any need, you can contact these OEMs also. They can provide you our coating. If you are injection molding processors, again, Windsor, Milacron, Toshiba, Electronica, these are, why these companies use our coatings in their machines. Some processor, we serve more than 100 processor in India, but just to give you brief, there are processor from engineering materials, from PVC processor, from furniture segments, from metal injection molding segment, some high percentage filler pipe manufacturer. So all cross sections we are serving right now. You have more, you need more informations or something like that, you can contact me or Mr. Devin. These are our numbers. And Muthuji, this is all I wanted to share today.
Thank you, Desai. It was a very wonderful and